So let me scoot over here and let's. This is one of our topics we're gonna looking at today. Let's just play this video real quick.
Living in Long Beach is dangerous, okay? I just moved to Long Beach from Costa Mesa. I've been in Costa Mesa for like 10 years. I'm originally from Victorville. Living out here is dangerous because I am side questing every day and having so much fun every day. There is always something to do. Everything is walkable, at least where I'm at. I can walk everywhere. I walk to the beach, I walk to restaurants, I walk to the bar, I walk to parks. I'm just out side questing. And I keep telling myself, I'm so tired, okay? I'm tired. I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m., waking up early, getting my day started, working, going to the gym, but I'm tired, but I'm having so much fun. The community here, people here are just great. Like, I feel like the things that I see here and experience, I feel like I'm living in a movie. This is dangerous. I'm eating so good. I'm eating the best food out. I haven't cooked. Actually, I cooked for the first time last night, and I've been living in my house for like a month now. But I'm just out in the streets, eating food, having drinks, dancing, going to parks, dipping in the ocean. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, it's one of those clips. It's one of those clips that, you know, she started with, is Long Beach, living in Long Beach is dangerous. Having too much fun can actually make you tired. So she's living in a city that's really just a very, as I experienced Long Beach, it's a different kind of little vibe. She's talking about how exhausted she is, and she's constantly doing something, working, going to the gym, going out, going to the beach, eating, drinking, exploring. And it's a walkable city. In the city that she's in, the vibe is a little different. There's a lot of things to see. There's a lot of people just out. There's a lot of people who are just um, going out, going to the gym, and it's just a different vibe. It's by the beach. It's by the ocean. So when you live close to the ocean and you're able to, let's say, um, let's say for example, you don't have to drive everywhere. You don't have to drive in your car where you can walk. Everything where she's living is an area where she can walk and she can go places. She can explore, and it's a different kind of living. And one thing I can say about Long Beach, they have a lot of places to eat, a lot of different places, a lot of great places to eat. And when I mean to go eat, a lot of times you'll go into a city. You'll go into a city, and you will, let's say, it's not a lot of, they have chain food there. They have a lot of chain foods there, but they have a lot of local restaurants. A lot of local restaurants, which is kind of cool. A lot of local restaurants you can explore, and it's not just steak and potatoes and whatnot. A lot of different types of food, any kind of food, cultures, a lot of different cultures that are there, you know. Um, and the thing is being exhausted from enjoying life a good kind of tired. You know, it just, just as a good kind of tired. You know, it's like there's always something to go do. And you're not just, I think she's working. She's working, but when she gets off work, she has other things to do. She doesn't just go inside the house and sit on the couch and watch TV, eat dinner, and then do the routine over and over again. She has other things that she can do, other things that are available outside. There's a lot of things that are available in her area. And so she says she moved from Costa Mesa. She lived in Victorville. And so maybe where they were living before, it wasn't so that you could just walk around, enjoy life, and just having a good time. And for a lot of people, that's what happens a lot in life. It happens a lot to a lot of people. And as we look at this situation, um, everyone's different. Some people don't like a lot of people around them, and she seems to be enjoying all the people around her, all the environment. Our next question we have: your environment can change how you live. And it's true. Your environment can change how you live. If you live somewhere where it's, no one out there and that's what you enjoy, that's what you enjoy. If you live somewhere where, like you said, she moved from Costa Mesa to Long Beach, suddenly became more active because everything is walkable. So she's getting her steps in. She's able to go here and go there, and it influences how much happiness her social life and her relationships. I know just a lot about Long Beach. It's just a city that um, and it has its good things and it has its bad things, like any city by the ocean. But the thing is, she's able to find her happiness. She's able to find her little areas to go hang out, her social life, her relationships. A lot of times in these smaller cities and smaller areas, some people are the relationships. It's like, okay, we met in high school, you're gonna get married, have kids, and then have to live happily ever after. Over here, social life's a little different. There's a lot more places to go hang out. There's more people to mingle with. There's people coming in and out the city, in and out the city. And you have people that are walking around. You got people working out, people walking, exercising. So you're going to attract people who are similar to you in a certain way. So she is discovering, wow, this is an interesting place. I can go to different places. I just walk down the street and I say, okay, what's that over there? And then, as she said, she's doing a lot of side questing. So she experienced life instead of just going through a routine. And the routine is pretty simple. Routine is go to work, come home, eat dinner, take care of your family, whatever, get back up and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Um, it's like I said, she's meeting people and enjoying the food, going to the ocean, feel like she's living in a movie. Because that's what we see a lot of times in movies. We see people walking around. You see people going from spot to spot and spot. It is interesting. It's interesting to see people moving around. It's interesting to see people just enjoying their life. And they're not worried about anything. And they're really into what they're doing. So my question to you, would you rather have a comfortable routine or live somewhere that constantly pushes you to get out and experience things? I already kind of know my answer. Um, I know lately we have, for me and my family, we have these little. They're called Waymos. And they're in a certain part of the city. And they're a little pricey, whatever. But last week we went and we parked our car at the beach, and then we wanted to go a certain part of the city. And I like it. The reason why I like it is no matter where I am in that part of the city, I can use my phone and I can call for a Waymo and it can pick us up and it can take you anywhere. But you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. What I like about it is there's a lot of traffic. And then sometimes when you drive, you don't get to see much. As a driver, you don't get to see much. You're just driving and driving and driving, but you don't get to see much. But here in the Waymo, I can sit back, relax. It takes me through areas that I would never ever think about going through, and because I don't know the area that well, I don't know certain things. I don't know the back roads and certain things. So it showed me some shortcuts. I saw next time. I said, okay, I'll take that way. It's taken us to places that we have never ever. We've lived in the city a long time, and a lot of these places I've seen on TV. I experienced it, but I'd never seen them in my life. Because it was always, when you're driving, you're like fighting a freeway. And then you get there, and then you're like, okay, I got to find a parking spot. And one of the places we like to go to is the beach. And the beach is always crowded. But that one is cool because it'll drop you off. And it's funny, it'll drop you off. And then you just get out, Waymo just leaves, whatever. You go shopping, hang out, have dinner, have a good time, and then you go back out to your spot, get on your phone, call your car to come over and get you 5, 6 minutes, and it'll take you around your way. So that's what I mean about just getting out of your house. In some areas, you really don't get out much. Some people don't get out much. They just, like I said, they go to work, they eat, watch TV, go to bed, do the routine over again. They don't have certain areas they can go to. We found this beautiful place that we go to, and it has I guess, 30 to 40 restaurants. I don't know, but there's a lot of food selections there. And you can experience different kinds of foods all over the place, which is cool. You can experience all kind of foods, and you just don't. Sometimes you might want Korean. Sometimes you might want just American barbecue. You might want a salad. You might want an ice cream. Whatever they have there, it's there. It's readily available for you. But the thing is, like I said, it's crowded there. And to get in the car, you gotta valet it. You gotta do all this other stuff. So we took the Waymo in there. Waymo dropped us off, walked in there, got on the trolley, had a good time. Didn't worry about much. So that's what I mean. Is like when you live somewhere and you want to get out and see people. And the cool thing about where I live is there's so many people, just people watching. And I figured it out where we were. There's a movie set or whatever, or it's where they film a lot of commercials, movies, whatever, and it's right behind where we were. And I start seeing these people, and I was like, wow, this is I wasn't dressed. I was dressed pretty nice, but I wasn't dressed like they were. It's a different level, and it just kind of tells you, and it just kind of, how do you say, makes you dream more. It makes you dream more. And as you're dreaming more, as you're dreaming and like, wow, that's such and such. She played in this one. But the thing is, when you're in an area like we are, you see these people, and they'll either have their sunglasses on or sometimes they don't. They're just out shopping just like you are. They're just out getting some sun just like you are. So for the most part, and sometimes they have the little bodyguards or whatever, you don't approach them. They're just like you are. They just treat them normal, and you go about your way. And it's just funny to interact with them. It's just funny that they are just trying to enjoy and get out and experience life just like you are. And there's some actors, actresses, just let them, whatever, let them be, So that's the beauty of just getting out and living and eating different foods and hanging out. That's the beauty of that. It's just, it's just one of those things that if you're lucky to live in a city, and some people, it's not for them. It's not for them, and they like a small town, and it works for them. It works for them, but everyone's different. So what do we have next here?
Last night I had the pleasure of meeting my husband's work wife.
This is the guy who said,
your job is
you got 1 minute of training.
Okay. When they come through the door,
you got 1 minute of training. Okay, so all right. So as I show this and as I go over this, 1 minute of training. He is a dishwasher. He's a dishwasher, and he is trying to understand, hey, man, they just keep putting stuff all over the place back here. And is 1 minute of training ever enough on any job? Any job. I know the different little jobs that I have in the training that I got. I'm doing this job, and just for a while, and they trained me on my phone. So here's the phone. Look at this video. How you do it. And to be honest with you, the job is really not that difficult. But you gotta have some. How do you say? You gotta have a little personality because you're gonna interact with people. You have to have your stuff organized. Where they want you to take pictures of stuff, they want you to upload stuff, and they want you to be on time. They want you to go from point A to point B and then go about your way. So sometimes, some jobs, they just, you realize it's brainless work. You just see the situation, and then you're so be. So this employee is thrown into a restaurant position and say he has basically given 1 minute of training before everyone is expecting to figure it out. And sometimes with these jobs and with that dishwashing job, it's not the most glamorous job at the restaurant. But to be honest with you, it's one of the most crucial jobs at the restaurant because you are going to be able to, you got to clean the dishes. And that's what people eat off is the dishes. So it's you think it's not the most important job, but it is. Okay. So here's my question. When someone is new, is it fair to expect them to perform immediately without proper training? Proper training. Your proper training. I think it all depends on how big the task is. So if you look at the task that he had, basically the people the waitresses, waiters, they bring the food back, the bus boys, they bring the food back, they drop it off there, you scrape the food off into the trash can, whatever, wash them down, put them in a rack, throw them through the dishwasher, and then I guess you stack them somehow. So there's like maybe 4 different things that you probably have to do. And I think what he was struggling with is there was no organization there. There's no organization of what he should be doing. It's just all you can see is it's a big mess. There was no rhyme or reason why certain pots and pans were all over the place. Like he said, I can't run the dishes through here. It's because something else is in its way. So sometimes I think a lot of that stuff is staged. As a manager, just looking and seeing how much pressure was back there, and usually the manager, if you see someone's backed up, they're usually supposed to jump in and help you. Say, hey, let me lighten the load a little bit for you. But this person didn't do that whatsoever, whatever. So but the guy's perspective is sometimes you have to learn under pressure. You have to learn under pressure. So that was his perspective. You learn under pressure. And some people, I think back to when they talk about if you have a baby or whatever, and you're at a pool and you want the baby to learn how to swim, and you just throw the baby in the water, and the baby will figure it out how to get out that water, how to start floating. They just naturally figured out how to do it. But then some people, they just can't do that. They just unable to do that whatsoever. And so that they struggle with this. Working under pressure. And as you can see, this guy is like, hey, I've only been here a few months. I hate being here. The restaurant gets busy. There's always time to teach someone everything. Employees have to figure things out on their own. But when it's the most embarrassing thing when you have a restaurant and you run out of dishes and whatever, and you don't have a protocol, you don't have things in place, it's a bad look. I understand. But one thing, if the dishwasher's broke, then you're like, okay, but all you gotta do is scrape, rinse, put in the rack, start putting in the dishwasher, then put them back where they are. Is learn as you go legitimate way to train an employee or just a poor management? If you want, like I said, I just looked at the video and I just did a little 1, 2, 3, 4 things you have to do. There's probably more than 4 things to do. But I like to try to break things down into at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps. Because most people, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. Showing like some people how to throw a baseball, volleyball. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep your platform there. Go. Lift up with your legs. Keep it simple. Most tasks you probably can break down into at least 3 or 4 things. So that's just me. Throwing somebody in the back where they don't know how to operate the dishwasher, they don't know how to operate how to rinse off dishes. I think there's a big thing that you have to do when you have to model things for the people. You have to actually model things to people and show them how to do things. And then once you show them, and then like they say, you do, we do, you do, and we all do. Okay? I do, you do, we do. Okay. So once we have that established, that I'll show you how to do it, I'm going to watch you how to show you. I'm going to watch you, see if you do it, and then we'll do it together, all together, so that we know that, hey, now if he happens to find another better way, or she finds another better way, we kind of streamline a little bit. That's just me. I think that is this poor management there. Just like say, hey man, I know all these dishes are back here, but you are like, I think a lot of times we think the dishwasher is not the most important person. But if the health department comes back here, or whatever, and sees all these dishes back here, they're going to shut us down. And then nobody makes any money right here. So that's the problem that we're going to have, and you're going to have, is we have to get these dishes through here, and they have to be clean. And so we got to figure out a system. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Learn as you go. I have a philosophy behind that. It's some people can figure things out, and that's fine. And there's other people, you got to just give them a little basics, and then they can go from there. And that's fine. Today I was watching. I was working again. I was watching this guy at the warehouse. And he was wrapping this pallet of that plastic wrap. He's just wrapping a pallet of plastic wrap. And as he was wrapping it, I was just wondering, I wonder who showed him how to do that? Did he just learn as he goes? Or did someone say, hey, this is how you start it, this is how you do it, and then it goes from there. Everyone's different. So I imagine probably one of the older guys who's been here a while, they showed him, hey, this is how we wrap our pallets. And then he just practiced it, made it look nice, and so the other. Now, the bigger problem at some people's workplace is the culture. The clip revealed that another employee apparently received the same lack of training. So what happened was he got the training from another person who got the training from another person, and that's how they treat them. It's like a little domino effect. Everyone did something different. He did one thing, she did one thing, so be it. So the undercover lawyer discovers that the people don't seem to be happy that management isn't communicating well. And as you look at the clip, you see, I guess the people in the green shirts are the managers or whatever, and the people who don't have those shirts aren't in management. And so they're not communicating well. And you could see one of the guys, assistant manager or whatever, just looked over there and see how the guy was doing. He was struggling and didn't really say, hey, let me help you out. Let me show you a better way. Let me show you something to get these, and let's see how we get these dishes. Let's lock this load out real quick. Now, here's the thing. The problem may not have been one bad employee. It could just been a management problem. Maybe the manager didn't understand. Maybe the manager didn't. Sometimes these managers, they have never washed dishes before. They have never served. They've just been put there because they're pretty organized. People think they're good leaders. But sometimes they just put them there because they look organized. They think they know what they're doing. Okay. Now, the question, if an employee fails because you don't properly train them, whose fault is it? The employee or the manager? So whose fault is it? If I don't perform up to my abilities and I don't get properly trained, whose fault is it? The employee or the manager? I know with this live stream stuff, and I know with the podcast stuff, I have certain guides. One good thing about YouTube and the internet, Google, they can show you, they can tell you step by step, and with all this wonderful, we can search things and then give you step by step. I'm more of a step by step kind of person, and then until I get a basic setup on it, and then I start experimenting. Once I get it set up, and then I start experimenting. I know we have my ATM Mini, and the guide that they gave me is so massive. It's kind of overwhelming. This thing can do so much. And I struggled with going live stream so big because I read what they told me to do and I did it and it didn't work. So I just kind of gave up. Now I kind of figured out I just needed not into the Ethernet cord needed to go into my router, not into my computer, and my connection seems to be better. Seems to be really strong. Really strong. And so that's the thing. Sometimes you're gonna have to learn how to, hey, let me just get a basic setup. And then now that didn't work. Let me try something else. A little notice and wonder. little notice and wonder, and as you go. So some situations, I like to be trained by people. I like to be trained by people. I like for people to tell me, hey, you do this, this, and this, and this. And there's other people that, they'll figure it out. I'm working with someone, and sometimes as I'm working with them, I don't think they're listening because I'm showing them how to do stuff. But then, like they told me today, hey, it actually worked today. I said, yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. And you just keep, but some people will figure it out on their own. They said that if you let them struggle by themselves, they will figure it out. I don't know. Everyone's different. It's that tough love situation where you think, it's that tough love situation. But for the most part, you just help them out, give them a hand. If they want to use your advice, they use your advice. If they don't want to use it, so be it. So on to our next clip. So this one is a doozy.
Last night I had the pleasure of meeting my husband's work wife.
And
that's a thing that I didn't know about. It was my husband's birthday yesterday, and his coworkers wanted to celebrate and got to this little bar last night. So
let's bring it back.
Last night I had the pleasure of meeting my husband.
So the situation is, she goes to she goes to her husband's work, and there's different little dynamics when you go to work with some people, and you're around these people 6-7 hours a day, and sometimes they what exactly is a work wife, work husband? The wife discovers that her husband, a female coworker, consider herself a work wife. The coworker is physically affectionate, seems focused on her husband. So she's trying to figure it out, like, hey, what's going on with this situation here? I need to really watch this girl because she's, so let's watch this little clip of her and see what she has to say.
Husband's work wife. That's a thing that I didn't know about. It was my husband's birthday yesterday, and his coworkers wanted to celebrate and got to this little bar last night. So we did. We get there, we're greeting everybody. I know everybody for the most part because my husband has worked at this company for years, and everybody's super sweet. But then this woman named Priscilla, who's a new hire, comes up to me and she's like, "Oh, you must be Dan's wife. My name is Priscilla." She greets me by giving me a handshake, but then she goes to my husband and gives him this big squeeze, which was kind of unnecessary. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? I don't know why we're embracing him chest to chest, holding on so tight, Priscilla. I let it slide. I'm like, okay. I have other things on my mind. I'm a spicy cube deep right now. Okay, girlfriend, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna let this go. So drinks are going and flowing, right? Me and my husband are catching up with everybody. It's overall a great night. But then Priscilla, she weasels her way back over to us, makes direct eye contact with my husband. This whole time, doesn't look at me at all to include me in this conversation, which, by the way, as a woman to woman, you should include the wife in the conversation, okay? Don't just leave her out. You make eye contact with her. You also kind of go back and forth with the husband and the wife. I would think that'd be common sense. But no, Priscilla is just zoned into my husband. She grabs his arm and she's like, "Oh, were you able to try that blueberry pie that I made you earlier for your birthday? I remember you saying that's your favorite pie." Look at him like, I didn't know this had happened. I didn't know you got a little sweet treat. He was like, "Oh yeah, it was really good. Thank you." And then she goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. I knew it was your special day and I didn't want to mess it up. Also, I know that you said your wife didn't really bake at all. So it'd be a nice little surprise. I'm over here seeing red. Am I going to go to jail tonight? Is that what we're doing? Are you wanting your ass beat? What the is happening?" I pull his ass aside and I'm like, what the fuck was that about? You haven't really told me about little Miss Priscilla over here. And what was kind of off-putting is that he was smirking about it. He was like, "Oh, babe, relax. She's just one of the new hires. She's super, super nice. She's trying to get on everyone's good side. And she likes to call herself my work wife." At that point, I was like, okay, so I'm going to beat two people's asses tonight. I don't know if I handled this right or if I didn't handle it enough. What would you do in this situation?
Yeah, and that's an interesting one. Little Priscilla wanted to do too much. She wanted to do way too much in the situation. So what exactly is a work wife or work husband? I don't know. I guess, like I said, you're around these people. You're around these people 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and I guess they just find comfort in you. So, is a work wife harmless workplace slang, or can it cross relationship boundaries? And I think what happened here is little Priscilla, wanted to let the guy's wife know that, hey, we have a connection here at work. We have a little connection here at work, and our connection is pretty strong. I know what kind of little sweet treat he likes. I know the things he hangs out with. I know him very well, and I'm moving in on your turf. I'm moving in on him, and it's you walk over and you look at him, but you don't look at her. It could be a problem. Work wife, work husband, and this is how things happen at work, and HR gets involved. Because some people don't understand that just because someone's nice to you, that's not an invitation. Just because someone's nice to you, it's not an invitation that they're in love with you. They're just a friendly person, and then you talk to her a certain way, and then boom, next thing you know it, you're sitting in the HR and asking yourself all these questions. Asking you all these questions. So the real wife is trying to figure out, hey, what in the heck is going on here? What in the world did I stumble across here? And, he's trying to hey, it's not that big of a deal, but, she has really raising up her aware. The real problem may be the boundaries. I think the real problem may be the boundaries. The issue isn't necessarily that the husband has a female coworker. It's a combination of things. The physical embrace. Priscilla comes up and she just goes for it. Goes in, hugs her man right in front of her. Probably just pushed the girl out the way and said, "There." She went out the way. And so that was kind of disrespectful. Instead of introducing herself, "Hey, my name is Priscilla. I work with your husband, blah, blah, blah. He said so many good things about you, blah, blah, blah." I don't know if she acknowledged her like that. The next problem we have is the birthday pie. So as Priscilla is bragging to her in front of her, it's like, "Oh, I know it's your favorite kind of pie, and I got it for your birthday." And it's kind of like an insult to her, "Hey, why aren't you taking care of him at the house like that? How do I know his favorite birthday pie and you're not doing it for him?" So just little things like that. The language, love is feeding someone, whatever. It's just interesting. And then remembering his favorite food. And this is when people start getting out of the little boundaries. That's his wife. You don't have to remember his favorite foods for his wife. His wife knows. But she's just trying to show the other girl, "Hey, I know your husband better than you think you do. Better than you do." And she's just trying to flex on her like that. Just trying to flex on her. And just, trying to let her know that, hey, if you don't take care of your man, I know his birthdays, I know his favorite foods. If you don't step it up, girl, I'm gonna swoop in and get him. And that's what it looks like to me. And so I understand why she's frustrated. And then Miss Little Priscilla, I guess she goes over and she touches his arm. Boop, touches his arm. Like she said, that's when we might both go to jail. Because, just touching him right in front of his wife is very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. And as she's doing that, he's like, "Oh, she's just a nice person. He's just trying to be nice about it and clean it up." She knows how women are. She knows. She knows how women act and what she's trying to do. And Priscilla's pushing it. She's trying to see what she can get away with in front of the wife. And the wife said, "No, we're going to pull him aside and say, hey, you need to get her in check real quick." You understand. And then the last thing that came up was excluding his actual wife from the conversation. She just wanted to have some little time with him. She wanted to just, "Hey, you over there, I'm talking to my work husband." Not even making eye contact with her, but just doing her own thing with him. Just isolating her, making her feel all alone by herself. I don't know. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see these dynamics, to see her struggle. So, at what point does friendliness becomes inappropriate? And that's the thing that she's struggling with. He's saying, oh, she's just a friendly girl. She's just so friendly. And then she's sitting there like, oh, yeah, she's friendly for a reason. She wants what I have. I feel threatened. And I can understand why she feels threatened. I can understand that. It's time to be friendly. But the touching, I got your favorite pie. Did he get her birthday gift? When her birthday came up, does he know her favorite foods? Those are the things that you start asking yourself these questions. Start asking your questions about this work wife, work husband, whatever. So you got to be really careful with that situation. Now, here's the deal. Next thing. Should your partner have to defend your relationship? Yeah. The husband tells her, hey, relax. It's just Priscilla over there. Priscilla, she's not a threat to you. She's just being nice. She's just trying to get along with everyone. Wife is like, nah, homie. I don't play that. We both going to go to jail tonight. Because I'm going to kick some butt up in here. So the wife see the situation completely different. And then the guy's like, oh my gosh, she's just trying to make a big deal about it. He's like, nah, maybe she's just a new hire and she's just trying to, fit in. So my question is, sometimes the issue isn't whether your partner is cheating, it's whether they allow someone else to cross borders that make the partner uncomfortable. So she felt uncomfortable the whole time. Felt very uncomfortable the whole time. Priscilla would come over, pull her guy away, do all kind of stuff. So that was interesting. Knowing his favorite foods and knowing certain things, not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. So the big question here is, your partner's work wife, work husband makes you uncomfortable. Should you, as your partner, shut it down or simply trust him? Should you shut it down or should you simply trust him? And that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Why is it a hard one? Because if you don't have trust with someone, it's going to be you're going to be stressed out at work. You can't concentrate at work. Are you going to be worried about what are they doing? But if you don't shut it down, that person is going to continue that relationship with that person. And then you have to remind them, hey, I told you, you need to chill on that. Will a person listen? We don't know. But we got to make sure that, to be honest with you got to have a balance of both, to be honest with you. It's not an either or. You got to say, hey, you need to shut that down because you're going to make me lose my trust for you. And then once I lose my trust, I don't really want to deal with you anymore. That's what it's going to come down to. And some people don't understand that. They think that everything's just a funny game and, oh, she's just telling me what to do. No, it's like enough's enough. She's getting too close to the situation. And we all have people in our work lives that get a little close to us. And sometimes we got to shut that situation down for the benefit of your marriage. A lot of times we take these marriages and our relationships and we don't realize how special they are until they're gone. And once they're gone, you're like, oh my God, my wife she's so awesome. But meanwhile, we don't really value it too much. So hopefully he got her hints. Hopefully on that drive home, she told him, hey, you need to shut that down because you're going to make me lose my trust for you. And once I lose my trust for you, it's over. So hopefully you enjoyed our clips. Hopefully as we do our new format with our podcast and you enjoy our new clips and continue to come back. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. And I think we got, the main thing is we got to just get a good flow of it. And I think I figured out how to do it. And that's the trick. Learn as you go. There's not really a book about it. I'm really into right now is publish as much as you have and just go with it that way. So thanks again for joining us on the Parafair podcast. And we will see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.